And welcome to Untethered with Jen Liss, the podcast that's here to help you break free, be you, and unleash your inner brilliance. I'm your host, Jen, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how to gift yourself the go-ahead. Let's dive in. Hey there, unicorn. It's Jen. Welcome back to the podcast for another holiday minisode. In these holiday minisodes, I'm recapping the top lessons that I myself have learned in 2023 in hopes that they will support you in some way and forging ahead with confidence and purpose in 2024. Speaking of 2024, I'm hosting my annual Word of the Year party, completely free and so awesome. I love hosting this party and I would love to have you there. What we're going to be doing at this party is to do what I have done every year for the past more than a decade, crafting a word of the year that will help guide you through the next year. My word of the year, you might have heard it in the first holiday minisode this year, was ready. I've chosen many words over the year and it's so supportive. It's so supportive. I'm super passionate about it and would love to help you craft yours. We're going to have meditation, breath work, journaling, visioning. It's going to be a beautiful 1-hour session. So come join me, jenliss.com/party. It's on Wednesday, January 3rd at 5:30 Pacific time. Would love to see you there. Now, let's talk about how to gift yourself the go-ahead. So let me tell you what I caught myself doing this year. We've talked about decision-making in one of these holiday minisodes, and decision-making is something that I have worked at over the past few years, and I truly believe in the power of being decisive. Something that I noticed myself doing was hesitating on decision, was hesitating on taking action on certain weird little things in my life. Certain things I've gotten really, really powerful at making my decision, knowing what I want, checking in with myself, moving forward. And then other things like letting my running shoes run to the bone. I mean, you should see these shoes. It was finally when my sister came to town and put on my shoes. And she was like, I cannot wear these because I run on the outsides of my feet. She's like, it feels like my legs are not sitting in their hips correctly, Jen. You've got to get new shoes. Then I finally decided to get new running shoes. Another place that I caught myself doing it is makeup. I won't buy myself the makeup. I will wait until it's like the powder on the eyebrow stuff is falling apart and just making a huge mess all over my bathroom every day that I finally let myself get the new makeup. So what the F is up with this? Because I have no problem making decisions in some areas. And then there's these little tiny things. And here's what I realized. I was not gifting myself the beautiful, luxurious go ahead of getting a nice new pair of shoes, of having that, when you get some new makeup and you tap into that new eyeshadow or new eyebrow or new eyeliner and it goes on so smooth. It's like, oh, it's the most amazing feeling. I was not gifting that to myself. What I was gifting myself over and over in these loops with the makeup and the shoes was the gift of putting it off. Now, that might sound wild, but this is an actual psychological thing that we begin to do when we get into what we might consider to be a negative habit or negative feedback loop. We end up getting rewarded for doing the thing that we don't want to do. So I was rewarding myself for thinking about maybe possibly buying the makeup and also reminding myself of how crappy this makeup is and how I need to get new makeup. That was actually giving me positive reinforcement because I've gone through this loop so many times of putting off the shoes and putting on the makeup that I'm in a negative feedback loop of the negative thought actually rewarding me. And what feels less safe and less enjoyable is actually allowing myself to get the reward of the smooth makeup, because once I do that, I have feelings of guilt. So when you notice that there is something that you are procrastinating on, that you're putting off, that you know is actually going to be so good for you, stop and pay attention and look at what the secondary gain is, because that's what this is called in the psychological field. You can look up all kinds of stuff if you're curious about this, about secondary gain. Notice what is the secondary gain that I am getting? You might be offering yourself these weird little things. Like for me with the makeup, I'm offering myself a Oh, but it's so good that you're doing this for the environment. You're extending the use of your makeup. Oh, you're saving money. And you might think that with the running shoes too. Oh, I'm extending it longer, so I'm saving money. And so then when you have that thought, you're feeling really good about yourself. Instead of what you're avoiding is the actual much healthier thing for you of getting new shoes, because you're probably hurting your hips, you're hurting your legs, you're hurting your knees by using these. Instead, you're getting this secondary hit of the good feels that you're getting by telling yourself that you're saving money, when really you're probably not saving money, because you're going to have surgery on that hip eventually, right? Which would pay for a lot of shoes. So when you notice yourself doing one of these things, notice, where am I feeling good in some strange way from this? Where am I telling myself some kind of story that is giving me a positive hit? You get a little dopamine hit from that for real. And what can I do instead? Which is likely go and buy the shoes right now and let yourself love the shoes when you get them. Put them on and feel them and be like, this feels so good. I'm so grateful that I made that decision. Go buy the makeup, go do whatever the thing is that you've been procrastinating on, and extend your joy in the moment of receiving it, in the moment of using it. Start to train your brain that it feels so much better to you. It feels so good to you, so juicy to you when you get the thing, instead of the reinforcement that you're getting from some weird story that you're crafting about yourself being a great person because you are saving money on your shoes. That's my personal story. Yours could be completely different from that, but this is a real fascinating thing for you to think about as you move through the next year. Just notice these places where you're doing it, because you're probably spending money and making decisions on most things very easily, but you've got these couple things and it's sneaky. Those couple of things might be occupying so much of your thought process. When you're getting ready in the morning and you're putting on that junky old makeup and you have a 30-minute conversation with yourself about how you need to get new makeup, what if you were thinking about your vision? What if you were thinking about gratitude? What if you were thinking about your day and not using that time? It's using brain space. Your brain space is so valuable. So gift yourself the go ahead and feel good about doing it. Give yourself the gift of moving forward, buying the thing, doing the thing that is going to bring you so much goodness and joy and health. Now, let's take a moment to consciously breathe and just take a moment to settle into the feeling and the sensation of joy. So remembering the last time that you did buy yourself something, that you were gifted something, that you received something that you loved, remembering that moment. And as you remember that moment, taking a deep inhale into your nose, exhaling out through the mouth, beginning to rotate that breath in and out. With each inhale, expanding that feeling of joy that you received when you said yes to that thing, or when someone else gifted you something, when you received something that felt so joyful and abundant. Maybe you felt love from someone else, love from yourself. Expanding that sensation of joy as you breathe. 2 more inhales. Another inhale. Exhaling completely. Reminding yourself that it is safe. It is safe to offer yourself gifts. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, you got a little something out of it, I encourage you to share it with a friend who might receive something from it too. Do you have that friend who is always letting their running shoes get way too bad or letting their makeup get old? Share it with them. You just keep shining your magical unicorn light out there for all to see. I'll see you next time. Bye.